I'm AussieDevFro, and I think I'm better at Pokemon than I really am. Now don't get me wrong, I've been playing Pokemon casually for 25 years. However, any challenge run I've ever attempted has ended up in a massive failure. What also doesn't help with this is my love for bug-type Pokemon. Not considered the strongest Pokemon type out there. However, that's why I think it's important to bring these bug Pokemon into the competitive scene. I'm going to bring my bugs, I'm going to bring my Fro, and I'm going to see if we can make some headway in Pokemon Champions. Righty, now let's get straight into the action with the first match of the day, or night, depends on where you are. Welcome back to Zero to He-Fro. I almost stuffed it up again. I'm AussieDevFro, and we are versing an opponent with a pretty standard team. The Melodic we've seen a lot of, Dragonite we've seen a lot of, the Poltergeist we've seen a lot of. It's all very much the muchness. The Talonflame is interesting though. The Talonflame is interesting. So we lead with the Scizor and the Slowking as usual. We want to get our Trick Room off. The Garganacl is going to be there to hopefully, push out the Talonflame and the Dragonite. And I sort of try to and ahh over what I'm going to bring as my last. I decide on the Armor Rouge, I think. Nope, we're swapping with the Araquanid. We decide on the Araquanid. Which may or may not come in handy. I think I'm looking at the Araquanid for the defense against the Aggron there. But look, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to go. Honestly, this video, I'm gonna preempt this video. You all saw the title, okay? You all saw the title. This is gonna be a rough one. I'm just prepping you. It's gonna be a rough one. So our opponent leads off with the Talonflame and the Aggron. That's an interesting combo, not a combo we've seen. I've got the Scizor and the Slowking, and I'm a little worried. And I feel like I should be more worried. This Talonflame, I think, hangs around, if I remember correctly, hangs around for quite a bit. Now, I go to do an attack with the Scizor and think, oh, maybe I should swap. Is there something, can the Talonflame just, slam me with a fire move? And then, yeah, we're going to swap into Araquanid. We're going to try and tank whatever move they're going to do. We're going to just send out the Trick Room, and we're going to leave it at that. My thinking is, even if Aggron does go for a Rock Slide, so to speak, why do I think Rock Throw? It's obviously going to be Rock Slide. Then Araquanid can use his berry, tank it, and we'll be okay. He does Mega Evolve, so the Aggron has Mega Evolved. He's looking big and tanky. And there comes the Tailwind. So I'm thinking, beauty, that's great. Tailwind all you want. The Trick Room is just going to help us out. Now, he does go for the Rock Slide. The Charty Berry does activate. Doesn't really do that much damage to both of our Pokemon. Does it flinch our Slowking? No, it does not. We do get this Trick Room off, which is awesome. So we have 5 turns where we are going to go first. So which Pokemon is the bigger threat? Is it the Aggron or is it the Talonflame? I'll leave that to you guys to decide. I decide it's the Aggron, where we use Liquidation to slam into him. It's just going to be neutrally effective, I believe. And unfortunately, the Slowking doesn't really have anything that it can really use here. So we kind of hedge our bets a little bit and end up using Sludge Bomb on the Talonflame, which is what I would say, but we've backed out now, and now I have no idea what I'm going to do. I get really confused here. I could cut here and go, ooh, what are we going to do? But then I end up doing the Sludge Bomb on the Talonflame. I probably should have just led with that. Anyway, Talonflame goes first. Talonflame is really slow. Uses Dual Wing Beat. And now that I'm thinking about it, it might have an ability. You know what? I'm going to look up Talonflame's ability right now as we Sludge Bomb that Pokemon. The Liquidation does come through, hits the Aggron, doesn't do too much damage. So overall, we didn't do too much damage, and that Aggron does get up an Iron Defense. So here I sort of make a decision. Am I going to swap the Araquanid out? Not entirely sure. And I sort of hesitate. Do we just bring that Garganacl in? We're going to bring the Garganacl in. And then we're just going to keep Sludge Bombing the Talonflame. Now, I've just looked it up. Talonflame does have a hidden ability called Gale Wind, which gives all flying type moves a +1 priority boost, allowing them to strike first, but only when Talonflame's HP is at maximum. So that was how it actually broke through before. It had priority over the Trick Room, which was unfortunate. Now, they do swap out into the Sinistra. I think I said Poltergeist before. I did mean Sinistra. That's my bad on that one. So brings it in, heals the Aggron. So overall, We kind of go a little bit backwards there. Just a little bit backwards. But we do get our Garganackle in. So we do have an Ice Punch here that is super effective on the Sinistra. I'd go to get rid of it. Get it out of here ASAP, because that thing can get up to all sorts of shenanigans with the Rage Powder and whatnot. We don't want that here. We're just going to clear it out. So the Sludge Bomb comes out from the Slowking. Almost knocks out the Sinistra. Does get the poison on it, though. So I'm thinking, okay, the poison might just take care of it. But it does have the Citrus Berries. So very, very good that we doubled into it. So we get that Ice Punch off. Knocking it out. Fantastic. Sinistra is out of here. The Aggron is still on the field, though. And it has quite a lot of bulk there with the Iron Defense. It does use Body Press. It does knock out Garganackle. So we're looking a little bit rough. We've knocked out their Sinistra. That's good. With, you know, half health their Talonflame. Also kind of good. We are looking a little rough, though. We do have our Mega in the back, though. Unfortunately, because Scizor doesn't have, like, a strong fighting type move, or my Scizor doesn't have a strong fighting type move, we are a little at odds with this Aggron. I don't really have any super effective moves on it. I don't have any fire moves. I got nothing. Anyway, I decided to bring out the Araquanid. The Talonflame does come out from the opponent. It is no longer full health, so it does not have that hidden ability Gale Winds right now. So we should be able to get a move off with Araquanid. However, I decide that being a little cheeky and using a Protect here just to sort of prevent any damage on the Araquanid might be useful. You know, see if we can soak up a hit from that Talonflame, since I'm assuming the Aggron's just going to use Rock Slide again. Now, we do send out that Sludge Bomb, takes out the Talonflame, so we finally get rid of it. Very, very happy about that. Very happy about that. Aggron does use Rock Slide, as expected. We do Protect, which is awesome. Araquanid will live to see another day. Doesn't do much against Slowking. Slowking, very tanky fella. Is able to eat his Citrus Berry, get up a little bit healthy, and I'd say now things are pretty even. Except that the Trick Room runs out. And that is dangerous. I probably should have tried to save the Araquanid for having Trick Room back. Because now we have a bit of a problem. Sylveon comes out. Now, we do have the Scyther with the super effective Bullet Punch, which I should have really thought about a bit better. Anyway, we do select the Liquidation on the Araquanid, and I aim that directly. I'm sort of umming and ahhing here whether finally taking down that Aggron is needed, which honestly I should be prioritizing. I do go into the Sylveon. I should go into the Aggron because that Sylveon we can take out really easily using our Scizor. Anyway, a Shadow Ball comes out, knocks the Slowking for 6, doesn't get a critical hit. If it didn't get a critical hit, I feel like this battle might have moved in a slightly different direction, because then Aggron gets its Rock Slide out, knocks out both our Pokemon, so we don't get the Trick Room off, we don't even get damage on that Sylveon, and now it's 2v1 with two very healthy Pokemon. So I do the only thing that I can do, which is send in my Scyther. Now, I was Scizor. Oh my gosh, I got his name wrong. I'm getting names wrong so much tonight. We do get the Mega Revolve. We're going to get that off. And since we're not going to get the Trick Room, I sort of think maybe I should just go for a Trailblaze. I'm thinking the Sylveon's going to Protect here to block a Bullet Punch. I probably should have just Bullet Punched, honestly, because that way, at least we defeat the Sylveon. At this point, the match is kind of against me in a very big fashion, because if I had have just Bullet Punched the Sylveon, I probably would have knocked it out, which means it would have been a 1v1. And we then could have Trailblazed, got our speed up. Anyway, the Shadow Ball comes out from the Sylveon, does a bit of damage. The Body Press comes out from Aggron, does a lot of damage. We do not resist the Steel type at all, which is unfortunate. With that Iron Defense, with the weight difference, we're in a lot of trouble here. We cannot touch that Aggron. Anyway, I do go for the Bullet Punch now, as I should have before. The Aggron does use Protect, which I think is, okay, you know what? Maybe we have a chance. Bullet Punch comes through. We don't knock it out. We don't knock out the Sylveon, which pretty much is game, set, and match. The Sylveon does go through with a Quick Attack, so we do survive another round, which is amazing. But they both are going to act next turn. They're going to take us out. That's pretty much the end of the game. There's nothing we can really do. I decide maybe we'll just play it out just in case. We'll get that extra KO, get a bit more experience. As I said, we get the Bullet Punch out, knock out the Sylveon. So, you know, small victory. I'm wondering, does the Aggron do anything that's going to stuff up his chances here? Nah, he just goes with Body Press. Funny thing is if he had have gone body press in the last turn, would have knocked it out, and that would have finished the match a turn earlier. So, unfortunately, not a great start for us. Our winning streak is gone. Look, I made some mistakes. Should have focused down the aggro earlier. It was definitely a problem. Might have, you could say I should have been aware of Talonflame's hidden ability. I don't think so. I think being aware of hidden abilities is specialist knowledge that I just don't have. But yeah, that aggron definitely was a big problem in the end. Alrighty, going into match number 2 for today. Pretty standard team. We have the Whimsicott, we have the Baskia Legion, we have the Archaladon, we have the Sneasler. We also have the Mega Floette, because you don't just bring Floette, it's definitely Mega Floette. I haven't had to go up against one yet, so I'm a little concerned. Just a little. Not super concerned, because we do have the Scizor and the Slowking, so we're going to get that Trick Room up. I bring the Armarouge and the Belly Bolt. Armarouge to take out the Whimsicott and the Archaladon if need be. Belly Bolt. Well, hold on. I bring in those Pokemon, but I bring them in a different order, I should say. It's going to be the Armarouge and the Slowking to come out, because I still want to get the Trick Room out, but I'm thinking Archaladon's coming in. If I bring out Armarouge, I'm going to be able to knock it out. So our opponent starts off with the Sneasler and the Archaladon, so I was absolutely correct on that. And I'm thinking, okay, I've called it. This is good. Now, how do we actually play this? So naturally, I think, you know what? Let's just Aura Sphere straight into it. You know, my problem is that I haven't been targeting the Archaladons. I'm going to target the Archaladon, and we're just going to hit that Trick Room button as always. So Archaladon uses Protect. I should have seen that coming. I should have just sent the Psychic straight to the Sneasler, because Sneasler is going to use Fake Out and prevent the Trick Room from happening. It does get a critical hit, which is annoying. So honestly, if I had have Psychic the Sneasler, this would have been a completely different match. Completely different match. But I didn't. So, Archaladon has Protected. So, I'm now free to send out that Aura Sphere. They know it's coming, but I'm free to send it out. I'm just going to hit that Trick Room button again, and I really need this up. I need the Trick Room up. There's nothing else that's really necessary right now. I just need Trick Room to go. So, unfortunately, our opponent does withdraw Archaladon. He decides this isn't the right time. And in comes the Politoed. Politoed bringing a Drizzle. So that was the Drizzlemon for the team. Diaclaw comes out from the Sneasler. Doesn't get any effects, which is great. Aura Sphere hits the Politoed. Does some damage. Does about 30%, which is neat. It's there. But we do get the Trick Room up. So now we're in business. We're going to go first. However, they do have their Drizzle, their brain going. So if Archaladon comes back, he is ready to get online. So we do need to be aware of that. I kind of want to leave Armarouge in, but I'm also afraid of like a Hydro Pump or something coming out from this Politoed. So with the Armarouge, I actually decide that I'm going to swap it out. I'm going to swap it out for the Belly Bolt. I think that's the smartest play. We're then just going to Psychic into the Sneasler. I got to get Armarouge out of here. Even though I wanted to keep him in, I decided to get him out. So Belly Bolt comes out. He's ready to rumble, wants to play with that Politoed. Psychic from the Slowking. It's going to knock out the Sneasler. That's what I should have done at the start of the match. I should have done it. We get the crit, which absolutely wasn't needed, but it's fine. Sneasler's down. Politoed is about to get smacked in the next round with a Thunderbolt. All is good. Except for that Weather Ball, which does almost half to the Belly Bolt. It does charge us up, but it does almost hit us for half, which is a little scary. I'm hoping the Belly Bolt is slower than the Politoed. Now, as expected, the opponent brings out Archaladon. So that thing is about to fire off an Electro Cannon or whatever it is. It's not going to be a fun time. It's not going to be a fun time at all. So we're just going to Thunderbolt this Politoed, get it out of here, and the Slowking can't really do too much right now. He's just kind of sitting there. He can't affect the Steel type. I'm not really sure what we can do. So I, for whatever reason here, and I really don't know, I decided to bring in the Sizzle. I really probably should have just left the Slowking out. I'm pretty sure he could have tanked the Electro Shot. Sizzle does not have good special defense here. Especially considering the Politoed uses Protect. I should have known that was coming. I should have used Rest on the Belly Bolt, healed it up, managed to actually get some extra health on that thing. Oh boy, there's a cascade of mistakes in these couple of matches, guys. What else can I tell you? So, Archaladon absorbs electricity, gets that special attack boost, and I've let it come online. I've just gone and let it come online. Sizzle gets knocked down to 29 HP. That's not good. That's not good at all. Sizzle's just gonna be knocked out. I'm gonna lose my Sizzle this turn. And it's looking bad. I'm making terrible plays. So Belly Bolt now, you know, may as well just hit that Thunderbolt button again, in for a penny, in for a pound. And I've got to Mega this Sizzle. Otherwise, I'm not going to get anything out of it. So I go for a Hail Mary. I decide to go for Bug Bite. If that Archaludon is holding a Citrus Berry, we're not going to survive another Electro Shot, but we'll take the Citrus Berry off the Archaludon. And that's my play. That's my thought process. It's a desperate play. So the Thunderbolt goes off without a hitch. Doesn't knock out the Politoed. That Politoed is thick AF. We do get the paralysis, though, which is nice. But we don't knock it out. So it wasn't even worth it at the end of the day there. Bellybolt's going to tank a Weather Ball to the face. It does knock it out. I should have used Rest earlier. I really, really should have. I didn't really think that Politoed would have Protect, but I should have done it. Anyway, we use the Bug Bite, hoping for that Citrus Berry. What do we find? Nothing. We find... No, we don't! We get a Citrus Berry! I was lying! Gotcha! We do find a Citrus Berry. We do activate the Stamina Boost, which is not good. But we did take it to Citrus Berry. So, honestly, a clever yet very desperate play. I don't recommend it because you do give them a defensive boost. But, yeah, hey, it kind of worked out. I stole the berry. So, I got a small victory there. Now, going on to the empty field, we do have the Armarouge and the Slowking. Armarouge is in danger because, you know, it's raining and there's probably a Hydro Pump coming his way. And Slowking really doesn't have anything to use against the Archaludon. So I'm really banking on the fact that that paralysis is going to stuff up the Politoed. I should have attacked it. I don't know why I didn't attack it. I think I just got really scared about the Archaludon. So I double into it. I use the Ice Beam. I use the Aura Sphere. We all know what's going to happen here. So they actually withdraw the Politoed to get him out of there. The Baskia Legion comes out. I really could have Psychic that, and it really would have done a lot for me. The Archaludon protects. I really should have seen that coming. It was such an obvious play. I don't know what to say. Just big mistakes. And the reason I'm showing this episode with all these mistakes is because to let you guys know that this series is 0 to He-Fro. Well, 0 to Hero. But, you know, I have a Fro, or I have big hair, so the joke is... Anyway, you get the joke. But the whole point of this series is I'm not the best player out there. And we all know that. We can see that. It's on display in front of us right now. But I'm trying. And I really want to make this work. I really want to have fun, use casual teams, and make it to the Master Ball tier. That is the goal. That is the goal, and we're aiming for it. So, anyway, getting back to the match. Archaludon uses Draco Meteor, absolutely annihilates the Slowking. It can use Draco Meteor now because it's got so many special attack boosts. So, it pretty much gets it off for free. Knocks out the Slowking. Wave Crash comes out from the Bastia Legion and knocks out the Armarouge. There was nothing we could do there. I made a cascade of errors. Error number 1, not resting with the Belly Bolt. That I think was a big error because we could have hit that Politoed a bit harder. Error number 2 was focusing all in on the Archaludon at the end of the match. Could have taken out that Sneasler at the start as well. There were a whole bunch of things I could have done in that battle that would have helped us out. But hey, look. These are the lessons I got to learn. Pick your targets. Pick your targets well. So going into round number 3 here, I'm looking at that team and I'm thinking bot potentially, but I don't know whether you get bots at Great Ball tier. I don't know how all that works. So the name says bot, but the team says regular. Anyway, we bring in our regular crew. We have the Scizor, we have the Slowking. We're going to bring Araquanid and Armarouge, yeah, to sort of keep it going. So the opponent starts off with the Whimsicott and the Arcanine, and this is pretty cool. All right, I haven't fought this combo yet, so this is going to be fun. Now, we're lucky here in that, well, we're unlucky in that we get intimidated, but we're lucky in that we have a couple of awesome checks with this. So we're going to swap the Scizor out for the Armarouge, hoping that Arcanine is going to use some form of fire move into our boy here. And obviously we're going to hit that Trick Room. So the Whimsicott uses Taunt. That's great. Bring it on. Happy for the Taunt. Not a problem at all. Arcanine uses Flame Charge. Straight into Armarouge. Get that Flash Fire. Getting that Fire boost, which we're probably not going to use, but hey, we'll take it. And the Trick Room goes off without a hitch. So, hey, that's a good first turn from me. So I decided to just use, Flame Cannon into the Whimsicott, since that's what it wants me to do. And I'm just going to use the Sludge Bomb on Arcanine. I just want to knock it around. Which I do. Yeah, take it down to 43%. That's a pretty good Sludge Bomb. The Armor Cannon comes out from the Armor Rouge. Knocking out that Whimsicott. Nice and easy. A couple of turns that I am happy about now. We do get the defensive drop on the Armor Rouge, but that's fine. I'll take that. I like Armor Cannon. The Arcanine does use Flamethrower on the Slowking. It doesn't really do too much, but, it happened. And our opponent sends out Garchomp to replace the Whimsicott. So at this point, I think, it might be time to get Armor Rouge out of here, bring in the Araquanid to deal with that Garchomp. And we're just going to use an Ice Beam into the Garchomp now from Slowking just to sort of get some damage on it. If it hits it, great. If it protects, then that's totally fine as well. So Slowking does use that Ice Beam, knocks out the Garchomp. Beautiful. We love it. It's going my way. Again, I don't know if this is a bot or not. I mean, either way, I'm happy. Now, the Arcanine does use Scary Face, which does lead me to think that this could be a bot, considering I have used Trick Room, so that's only going to help me. They do bring in the Corviknight, which is like, okay, all right, that's also a different Pokemon, and I kind of wish I had my Armor Rouge, but Araquanid is perfect here to take on the Arcanine, and an Ice Beam will just be regularly effective on the Corviknight, so it should be fine. Araquanid comes through with the Liquidation. It knocks out that Arcanine as expected, so he is out of here. And we get that Ice Beam out on the Corviknight. Does, a tiny bit of damage, does about a quarter or a third. They do use Aerial Ace on our poor Araquanid, but he eats that up. His defensive is nothing else. Honestly, there's going to be a couple of battles soon where you see the full defensive power of Araquanid, and it is amazing. You wait for those. Anyway, we do use the Liquidation on the Corviknight. We're going to use another Ice Beam as well, and that's pretty much going to wrap this one up, I believe. Yeah, look at that damage. Look at our boy Araquanid. He is so strong. Honestly, I'm going to say it. I think Araquanid is one of the strongest Bug-type Pokemon out there. Full stop. It's so good. It's so good. It's great. Anyway, so that's going to be our third match. As I said, overall, not a great showing from me. Lots of mistakes, couple of losses, but that's the point. We're learning, we're progressing, and we're having a good time. And I hope you're having a good time too. If you are, make sure you do like the video, subscribe to the channel to see more, and comment below on what I could, maybe things that were out of my control. Let me know if there was something that I just, like the Gale Winds from the Talonflame. Things that I might not be able to think about right now, but things maybe I should be aware of. Please let me know. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you when I see you.